Joburg Open will take place from the 6th to the 9th, that's next month, in Johannesburg. The event is dedicated to help raise funds towards efforts for the construction of the Nelson Mandela's Children's Hospital. The tournament promises to attract both local and international players. Joining me now for our discussion is Bongi Mokaba, who's the Director of Events Management and is a promoter for the Joburg Open. Good morning, welcome.
Sam, good morning, and thank you for having me here.
Let's talk about the Joburg Open. It's in its 8th year. I mean, it's grown from strength to strength. It's received international coverage. I mean, it must be easier and more challenging as we progress.
Sam, I wish I could say it's getting easier by the year because we want to improve the tournament annually. It's getting tougher every day. But us having it for the 8th year indicates how the tournament has grown in leaps and bounds. You correctly stating that we have local and international coverage because from the records that we have, the tournament is generally broadcast over 53 countries, including South Africa. That exposure has actually helped put Johannesburg in a different light globally.
There are some of our viewers sitting at home and they might have some fuzzy memories. Take us back to the beginning of the Joburg Open, how it started and how it came about.
The tournament started from a piece of paper. Our former mayor of Johannesburg, former mayor, then Councillor Masondo, gave me a letter of request that had come from particular people wanting to partner with the city on the tournament. And he said to us as the events team, go listen, come back, tell us whether this would make sense. We came back, we felt the proposition was making business sense. It was then taken to mayoral committee for approval. And when we started, it was in 2007 when we staged the first tournament. I remember we had about 120 people in the clubhouse, and we used that as a VIP area. We had no grandstands, we had nothing. And people then were thinking, gee, what are these people doing, you know? And when you look at where we started, we have, at the moment, grandstands all over the facility. The tournament has grown in such a way that even the club that we have used in 7 years, which is the Royal Johannesburg in Kensington, have improved their own facility as well, just to give the club absolutely a different feel. The course is looking amazing. It is befitting of an international tournament.
If memory serves me correct, I can't remember that there was a beneficiary last year. There might have been, but I'm not aware of it. This year you've got the Nelson Mandela Children's Hospital, and you want to raise funds for the hospital. How did that relationship come about?
If people would recall that during the celebrations of the 10 years of democracy, the city of Johannesburg awarded its highest honor to the late Dr. Nelson Mandela. And he was given the honor of being a freeman of the city. And that relationship has continued between the city and all the foundations and the organizations that he supported and under his name. And what we're basically doing are continuing with his legacy. In 2014, Mayor Dawood took a decision to say, we need to continue with Tata's legacy, and as a result, that is how it came about that the 2014 tournament be dedicated to the Nelson Mandela Children's Hospital. And what we're doing, we are supporting and continuing with the initiative of raising funds. I know the organization has spoken at length with people requesting that people dig deep into their pockets and make some contribution. People listen, people hear. But there are those that hear and still don't hear. And those are people we're looking at. We're looking at the golfing fraternity. We've requested the Sunshine Tour, the European Tour, the players, and the general public at large to say, contribute, make your voices heard. Let's make sure that this hospital gets built for the benefit of the South African children.
In 30 seconds, let's talk about how this tournament has grown some of the modern heroes of the game today, because it has become a platform for young golfers to establish themselves.
Sam, before I do that, allow me to take a step back and say, starting from 2014, the tournament as part of its growth, is now a qualifying tournament for the Open Championship.
Wow.
3 of our players that would come up would finish in the top 3 automatically get qualification to play in the Open Championship, which is the oldest major in golf.
Yeah.
So that is one aspect. But in terms of the players that are going to be coming here, if you look at Europe, for argument's sake, you have Paul Lawrie, you have Jamison Scott, who basically won the Nelson Mandela Championship last year. You have David Howell, you have Shiv Kapoor from India. You have local players. You have your 3 champions, which is Schwarzel, Brandon Grace, and Steny. But at the same time, there are emerging black golfers that are coming. You're looking at Thabo Maseko, you're looking at Sipho Bujela, your Toto Timbers. That is the next crop of young emerging players that will be playing at the tournament.
And it's going to be one important clash to check out for. Now, if you don't know those dates, it's the 6th and the 9th of February. That's next month. We have the Joburg Open. It's in its 8th edition. So you've got to watch out for that and make that a note on your calendar. That was Bongi Mokaba, who's the Director of Events Management and the promoter of the Joburg Open, speaking to us about the 8th edition. That's where we'll leave it now. Let's go over to Sam Murray, who's standing by with your sports.